Once again, we are about to go across the pond to Wembley Stadium for the second year in a row. Gentlemen and all elite female friends and fans, professional wrestling, simply predicting community. Let's freaking go. Let's go. All in London, where we'll see the burning of a star and the rise of stardom in another, possibly. Will we see the Tiger Driver initiated to allow the American Championship restored to international glory? And how far is one willing to go versus the other to sacrifice everything in the name of the TNT Championship? And who will stand tall at the end of the final countdown when it hits 0 and the hand hits 3 on the mat? Welcome, everybody, to All in London. This is so much more to be discussed. Welcome to the show. Let's freaking go. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again. Welcome back. I think it's been a while since I've done this. I can't remember anymore because it feels like a whole new era anymore with this stuff. Welcome, everybody, to the Simple Man's Brand. You know what this is. I'm the Simple Man of the Simple Man's Brand. My name is Noel Foster, forever great professional wrestling, damn it. And we are back once again for another edition of Simply Predicting, a simple forum where we come together to discuss all things wrestling, the biggest shows, pay-per-views, PLEs, and, of course, provide our simple opinions and predictions towards this biggest pay-per-view moments that yet could happen. I want to give a shout out to everybody that watches this whether live or on demand. Of course, there'll be a link to the forum as always after this video concludes. You also will find on my social medias too. Say yeah to NoDQ, that's already there as well. You have till kickoff 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to get those predictions in Sunday morning. That being said, cheers to you also across the pond that are watching this. I know it's probably Saturday over there. Let's go ahead and get everybody's initial thoughts before we get right into it. First off, Chris, young friend, fellow fan in all things wrestling, and one of my fellow horsemen in predictions, out of Jeff Chadwick, and of course, Mark Griffith. Good to see you once again. How you been? How you feel about AEW All In?
Hey everybody, I'm doing good. I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 for All in London 2. I feel this build towards All in London is way better than last year's build up to All in London, and I feel the sequel is going to be better than the pilot on Sunday. The match I'm looking forward to is Bryan Danielson's final countdown for the World Championship. CEO versus DMD on Sunday. It's going to be a banger after banger on Sunday, but always say yeah to NoDQ.com. And good luck to everybody that is still competing in the All Elite Wrestling Predictions League.
Yeah, and that's not it. So that's just a fact of life. Of course, remain spoiler free for all things live wrestling, as of course I do these things that I'm able to, and also I don't have Fox, but I still keep up with WWE, as you all clearly see, as I came from SummerSlam. That being said, you can call me reliable if you want when it comes to literally a positive, even unbiased outlook on all things wrestling. This guy right here is Mr. Reliable. Reliable, and it's always good to have him back here. He's been here a couple of times. Welcome to Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz, and Simply Reliable, as we are together once again here. That's been covering NXT and A and some pay-per-views, and we'll be doing that this Sunday as long as all things work out too. Walter, good to see you once again. How you feel about Sunday and AEW All In London? Do
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Pardon the bad pun, but I'm all in for this pay-per-view. I'm ready to see what's going on. You know I had to do it.
I mean, if you did, I'm sure somebody else was going to. So I approve it. I definitely approves too. Go check out the Stats Boys.
Yeah, but like I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, Chris, you're right about the story. Seems to be like a better build than last year. You know, they took a while to even announce some of the matches last year. So at least we're way ahead of time. We got stuff to look forward to, and I can't wait to get into this.
Yeah, and I will also give credit to AEW as we're on the verge of the 5-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. They really have pulled their roster together and created some incredible stories, and I think we're in for some very special moments. This is definitely going to be a unique event, and we also learned, of course, that they will be going all in Texas next year, but going all in back here in 2026. But Finn Door will also be here next year. I don't know if it'll be at Wembley, but time will tell. But yeah, I'm extremely excited too. You guys know how I feel about professional wrestling on a pay-per-view stage. Damn it. especially when it comes to AEW. It's always one of those pay-per-views that's never not a disappointment for me because pay-per-views from AEW just don't miss, it seems. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So again, folks, we have 10, count them, 10 matches. One on the 0 hour, 9-match main card. Tony Khan, please keep it that way, you freaking madman. And of course, the pay-per-view will be available on Bleacher Report, Triller TV. It starts 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to our kickoff show with 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time go live for the actual pay-per-view. And again, your opinions matter. Stay tuned for the form. As always, let your opinions be known in the chat. Follow me on social media. Follow NoDQ. Follow Rage of Wrestling. So Reliable will keep you covered this Sunday as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll start simply off with the 0 hour because we know the 0 hour actually has wrestling. What a crazy concept. Actually has wrestling, of course, here in AEW, which I can appreciate. And we know this has championship implications regarding Willow Nightingale, CMLL Women's World Championship. It's Willow Nightingale and the Stone Pitbull, Tomoyoshi E tagging alongside each other in mixed tag team action against Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. I don't think a whole lot needs to be said here, considering Chris Statlander earned this opportunity using a steel chain with the help of Stokely to get a shot at the title in the first place. But we don't know when the match is going to happen. The unique thing here, though, is whatever side wins this, that person decides the stipulation. Now, truth be told, we look at wrestling, you would think it's 50-50, right? But again, we're also looking at a babyface champion and a heel challenger. The heel, in my opinion, needs the moment more than the face when it comes to the title, considering she's going through a character metamorphosis. Willow Nightingale, she's constantly been a history maker. Great close-up, by the way, with Renee Paquette. That being said, Walter, who you think gets the better of this mixed tag team match and gets the opportunity to choose the stipulation for the championship match ahead between Willow and Chris?
I'm gonna go with Chris Statlander and her. I'm gonna go with the heels because I just feel like in order to build it, the heels need to have the momentum so it can look like Willow actually has a chance of losing her title down the line. Chris needs all the momentum in order to credit why she's the #1 contender for that title right now. You need to build that. So if she loses the match just setting it up and can't even choose the stipulation, then why would we believe she has any chance against Willow in a one-on-one? So I know it's hard. You can't mix logic with wrestling, but logically speaking, it just wouldn't make sense for her to lose it. And then because you want us to believe everybody's got a chance, even though it's predetermined, you want people to actually believe they got a chance to win the title in order to invest in it. So I gotta say the heels gotta win this one.
Fair enough. Shout out to the 23 of you, by the way, that's filling your predictions so far across NoDQ and the Predicting Wrestling community, including but not limited to Bacon_Space, greatest name ever. Our own General, the new normal, Jerry Slaughter, Sienna Chanel, pleasure meeting USC at SummerSlam. Cheers. David Diaz, Charlene, Con Andrew, Justin, Bachastini, Benji, JJ, of course. Shout out to the Renegade Wrestling. Kimberly, Kyle, Dwayne Atkinson, Mark Anderson, Rocco, amongst others. Again, folks, get those predictions in. All right. Well, Chris, where do you stand on this? Again, it would be unique for the babyface to choose the stipulation and the heel overcoming it, but it almost feels like a typical championship story of heel wins, choose stipulation, babyface overcomes it. But I think that Chris, at the end of all this, needs this win, even though Willow Nightingale has been the international history-making standard. Shout out to Bull Nakano and a very limited list of women that have done the things she's done, being a champion in America, Japan, and now Mexico. Kudos to her. But that being said, what do you think about this mixed tag match?
Thank God there's only one match so far announced for the 0 hour. But hey, Tony Khan, he might add 2 more matches for all we know.
That's the normal, to be fair, and it's a 2-hour kickoff. But I think here, 1 match is enough. To be fair, last year, Walter, there were 2, so he's not completely wrong. And this is still way less matches than he normally does, and each match actually has depth in storytelling and quality to deliver. Continue.
Well, on the form and making it right here, I actually have Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii picking up the victory here, because on the 0 hour, it's usually have the baby faces win to set the tone for the rest of the show.
Accurate.
And and I just feel have Willow and Tomohiro Ishii win here. Willow picks the stipulation for their upcoming match, if it's going to happen on a Dynamite or if it's going to be taking place at All Out on September 7th. So I'm going with Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii.
All right. I think that's a fair consensus. When I was thinking about this last night, it does kind of feel a little bit off-centered for the heels to win on the 0 hour. And if I'm looking at the way this formula has worked, since Chris already got the win, I guess it does make sense for Quiz to go over here and lose when it comes to the title in the end. I would kind of find it odd for Chris Statler to be a champion for CMLL, considering Willow Nightingale has been the international figurehead in this AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling partnership. Not to mention the fact that, again, let's not forget CMLL is also direct communication with NJPW. So, yeah, I think for once you very well might be right, because if Willow gets the win over Chris here, it does leave speculation that Chris either gets her or loses. But nope, I'm still going against the grain. Something tells me that Willow's not going to lose this title, and I do think there is something different planned for Chris Statlander. Plus, who doesn't want to see Stokely halfway get his ass kicked? And I think it'd be cool for Ishii to get the moment because he's more internationally recognized, being a former Rev Pro British heavyweight champion. So I'm going against both of you here, saying that he plants Stokely, but I think Chris might get the win here because she sets up the stipulation, and then Willow wins the championship match. Because at the end of the day, it's the title match that matters, all right? Let's just put that out there. It's the title match that matters. So I'm actually going with Chris Statler and Stokely halfway to get the win. I think Chris pins Willow again and knocks out Ishii with a steel chain. I could be wrong, but think differently, you know? Because this just seems too obvious right now that Willow's not losing this title to Chris. So there you go. And Dwayne Atkinson, good to see you.
You and me on the same page. I picked Chris too.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, again, it was only Chris that didn't pick. Ironically, Chris didn't go with Chris.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. All right. Well, since there's three of us, why don't we three go ahead and judge three others amongst these teams, shall we? Because for the first time since, honestly, I can remember, we have a ladder match regarding the AEW Trios Championships. Let's go ahead and discuss the London ladder match. That's easy to say. For the AEW Trios Championships. Of course, the current champions, the Patriarchy, still pisses me off looking at this picture. I'm not going to lie. That Jezebel, who doesn't deserve to wear a title. Oh, God. Mama Wayne, her boy Nick Wayne, the Patriarch himself, Christian Cage, and Killswitch Luchasaurus defend the gold against the House of Black, the Bang Bang Gang, and shout out to Aaron Rift, as reported by No DQ. Not since Collision, of course, was pre-recorded. The fourth team is, I can't believe this, Cloud Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta. So there's our four-way dance for the AEW Trios Championships. The only way to win, of course, is to climb the ladder and seize the titles. Now, of course, the House of Black came in here last year, and they are one of the most notorious Trios champions in AEW history, 25 weeks plus. They have not held the Trios gold since, but we know how dynamic they are in singles, trios, and tag teams. And it was Christian Cage that first neutralized the House of Black before they even go after the Trios Championships again, before he stole them from the Bang Bang Gang with Mace to rock hard Drew Robinson's face and taking advantage of Jay White's injury. And then you have this unique trio out of nowhere with Pac, Cloud Castagnoli with a Yuta, Blackpool Combat Club, and 1/3 of Death Triangle. Death Triangle, former Trios champions. So, Chris, what do you think happens here in this four-way dance with ladders, considering we know one person is heavily experienced in this atmosphere?
Well, this is going to be a wild ladder match with all 12 of these superstars in the ring at the same time. It's going to be crazy. We're going to have big spots on Sunday night. Who I feel is going to win this match, It has to be the Patriarchies. I got the Patriarchies retaining the Trios champions here at All In London.
Well, Walter, he's not alone. Half of the poll right now, the 23, are going with the patriarchy, but there are a number of votes for the House of Black, quote unquote. Does the House always wins? Does Buddy Murphy get his revenge? So where do you stand? You're muted. Botch.
Well, in WWE for a decade plus, the sentiment was you don't pick against big match John. I'm sorry. In a ladder match, you just can't pick against Christian. It's just this is his wheelhouse. This is like if you think about even when he was in WWE, who won every time they won the tag matches in the ladder match, who was the one that actually pulled the title off from it was Christian. Yep. It was never Edge. It was always Christian that pulled those titles down. Christian is like the master at the ladder. And besides, they haven't had the titles that long. So I don't think it's time to switch it. And he's going to do, well, the patriarchy together is going to do what he did for his individual titles. The way he elevated that TNT title to where it was is, I think he's going to do the same to the trio. So there's no way I could pick against Christian in the ladder match.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when you literally got somebody that knows how to work everyone and outwork everyone and a master manipulator and a master monitor extreme atmosphere, bodies flying everywhere, and I'm sure that Jezebel will be involved in some capacity as well. Maybe Julia Hart shows up and miss her in the face, because Julia Hart, we know she's rebuilding her return. I wouldn't mind that. I'm not gonna lie, dude. She's wearing a trios championship. What the fuck crime and blasphemy is this? Anyway. And someone told me that fallout with House of Black and the Bang Bang game is going to escalate, and I feel the patriarchy getting advantage. The biggest X factor here for me, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. I mean, literally, it's a duo that you wonder, again, forging combat. This is the most random trio summary I've ever seen, and Claudio can figuratively do anything. No stranger to some of these people, of course, from the Continental Classic. And Wheeler Yuta, former, of course, Ring of Honor Pure Champion, also involved in Blood and Guts, so we know he knows how to go to the extreme. So it's just one of those things where I think you're going to have a showcase team, you're going to have a rivalry fall of it, and you are going to have the patriarchy retained. So I do agree, unfortunately. But I'm waiting for Killswitch to get a brain and finally engage against Christian Cage in his rage. Just fracking saying.
I'm just hoping it doesn't end up. You got so many people that I don't want it to be a cluster, because with that many people, it's going to be hard. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going to be on the outside of the ring while the stuff happens with just maybe 4 inside with the ladder. Like, they got to coordinate it where a lot of them are on the outside while the stuff is happening in the inside with the ladders. Because you have literally all of them in the ring at the same time. It's going to be like super difficult to not make it look like a cluster.
I'm expecting Jenga ladder jungle, and the ladders will come falling down on the fair lady, if you want to call it that. But we'll see. And I definitely expect at least 8 men destroyed on the outside when the dust settles and somebody grabs the titles. I don't disagree with you one bit. But this is going to be fun to watch, because I love human car wrecks of violence, as long as nobody twists their ankles. Kind of why I'm glad Donnie Martin's not in this. Jeez. All right. Let's go ahead and move on as we move into the women's division. Say it with me if you choose, because for the TBS title, we have, of course, say it with me, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Don't forget it. Damn it. Going up against, don't you dare do that dance. Going up against the CEO, Mercedes Moné, for the TBS Championship. We know that Camille, of course, will be a Mercedes Moné corner, but Chris, damn it, you freaking idiot. Dadgummit.
B-O-O.
That I agree with. I'm just saying. Of course, we know that Camille, one of the biggest figureheads ever in the NWA Women's World Championship modern history, will be in Mercedes Moné's corner. We still don't know if we're going to find a heater in the doctor's corner. The last time we saw the Burger DMD, of course, before she came back mentally and physically rebuilt. Thank Christ. Thank you, DDP Yoga. Of course, it was the last time we saw her was on Collision, challenging Chris Statlander for the TBS Championship, came up short. Now looking to make history as the first woman to have both the TBS and the AEW Women's World Championship. It's the gold standard, the original versus one of 4. We also know, of course, that originally this was a dream match for her, but this is not the same Moné that Britt Baker was hoping to get in the ring with. And she realizes that. It's selfish versus selflessness. What a weird era we live in. But that being said, I'll go ahead and start this one off and say that, look, you know how much I want Britt to win this. You know how much I want Jamie Hayter to come out and literally take the CEO's head off. But I think it's a bigger angle to come considering Monet Corporations is still building up. And whether or not the Renegade Twins get involved or another name or Shida, who's not on this card, maybe goes against her Bushido and turns against the doctor, blaming her for the fact she's not part of Wembley Stadium. Just saying. I do think at some point we're getting Camille and Monet versus Britt and Hayter. But do you initiate that at Wembley Stadium? Do you let Monet win and then you give the massive pop to the turning Britt, I'm a hater, to Jamie Hayter? I honestly think that's what's going to happen. So I am going to say, by hook and by crook, considering her idol was Eddie Guerrero, Olale, Mercedes Monet retains. That being said, Chris, where do you stand on this?
Well, this is going to be a banger match. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm telling you, this has been the best build towards Mercedes and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. This is actually the best build towards a women's match in history.
That's a bold statement. I don't know if I would go that far. Then again, I watch Joshi Pro, so I'm a whole different animal. But go ahead, take your opinion.
This is a dream match. I'm looking forward to it. I got the CEO.
Don't ever do that again.
On Sunday. Yeah, Mercedes Monet, she just won the TBS champion not too long ago. And there's no way they're going to take that title off of her just yet. Yeah, what you said about Jamie Hayter returning, I was thinking about that after their segment got done from AEW on Wednesday, and I said, is Jamie Hayter going to show up on Sunday? It could happen. It could strongly happen since this is in England and is she from England or that's her like home? Okay.
She's literally from England. The first time I discovered her was Pro Wrestling Eve, former also Stardom participant, holding the SWA title during the pandemic. Damn it. Got locked down and couldn't show off her championship caliber capabilities with it. Hasn't been seen since Double or Nothing last year.
I have a gut feeling as of now, I think Jamie Hayter should return maybe after the match. If there's like a beatdown after the match with Mercedes, Camille attacking Dr. Britt Baker, and then that's the moment you could go off and say Jamie Hayter return, and maybe we could set up a tag team match between Camille and Mercedes against Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker. And then maybe after that, we could see Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter for the TBS championship down the road.
All right. I do like that, but I also just thought about Hayter in a different sense, considering what she had before she got injured. But that being said, Walter, it's 2-1 in favor of the CEO, BOO if you choose. 65% choose the champion to retain, while 35% hope that Dr. Britt Baker makes history in Wembley Stadium. But where do you stand in all this? And if Hayter don't show up, do you see somebody else showing up on either woman's behalf, whether negative or positive?
I think it's got to be Hayter, but this is a lot harder to predict than I thought. But mostly it's because I'm in my own way when I'm thinking. Because if you think politics, Britt Baker just coming off a suspension, and we know all the crap that happened to her. So do they play politics and punish her and not let her win this title here because of what happened backstage? Because we know the politics of wrestling.
Do we really?
But also, Mercedes has 2 titles, so she can actually afford to lose one, and you can build 2 female superstars. If you're thinking of the company, you can build 2 people. Britt Baker can stay away from Mercedes eventually after winning the title, and then Mercedes can focus on her second title, and we can elevate that title with Mercedes, and we can have DMD rebuild the TBS title and she can come back and dominate because she's just coming back off an injury recently. You really want her biggest pay-per-view match coming back and she's gonna lose like right in front of everyone, in front of the biggest crowd you have of the year. So it's like that's why what I'm weighing against. But I think because of her character and who she is and the cockiness and everything, I think Mercedes retains here. I just think you got to go with her and let her keep building the biatch she is and making everybody hate her. Like in order to keep getting haters, you got to keep winning. So you lose a lot of haters when you start losing too. So you got to win to make that character work and the CEO and the boss bitch. You got to win all your matches. So I'm gonna say she retains.
Yeah, and again, to your point, she is defending the Strong Women's Championship this coming Friday next week, 1 week from today, at Capital Collision against Stardom's Momo Watanabe, one of the most notorious Wonderstorm champions. But also, just put that in perspective, folks, that's heel versus heel. So that's a whole different animal to talk about. And again, that title's not related to AEW. But I understand what you're saying. And at the end of the day, there's still story for both when we look at it either way. So whether Hayter shows up, whether Sheeta comes in on either woman's behalf, turns against Britt and goes alongside Monet, please don't. Whether somebody else joins Monet Corporation. Clearly, the doctor, the DMD, and the CEO are not going to be done with each other after Wembley. Now, whether the TBS title is still involved, who knows? But yeah, it just feels like to me with the fact that Monet was in this place last year in the stands, there's another thing for you. I don't think they're going to let her lose 1 year later, practically to the day, in an actual match, let alone with a championship. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on from there. I am the learning tree. Hi, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about the FTW Championship, and will Hook escape the Chris Jericho mid-card vortex because a lesson will be painfully taught, and he might blind him once and for all. Thanks, guys. Oh, for the love of God, this gimmick. Okay, so in all seriousness, what the fuck am I talking about? I can't be serious about this. Fuck the world. The FTW Championship, the former world champion, Chris Jericho, the learning tree, who won the title course back at Dynasty. And we've seen everything possible used in a painful learning matter, from fireballs to dice to kendo sticks to hockey pucks to horseshoes. Shall I continue? We're in Wembley. I don't know if they're going to use cricket bats, soccer balls, or something else. Maybe jersey or rugby balls. I don't know. But bottom line, he took out Hook, he took out Shibata, took out Samoa Joe, the Learning Tree, the Redwood Big Bill, and the Bad Apple. I almost said Sour Apple. What's his name? Bounty Hunter Brian Keith. The Learning Tree has been the world champion now for over 110 days, but this is a Taz family heirloom. In one aspect, if Hook loses, he's out of the Chris Jericho mid-card vortex. We don't have to worry about this match happening again, it sounds like. In another essence, if Hook wins, that just means Chris Jericho will once again try and surprise us with another character reinvention. So, bottom line, what the fuck happens here for a title that once was about zero fucks for the world and now is for the world regarding the Learning Tree and his learning lessons? That being said, hi, Walter. What do you think happens for the FTW Championship?
Oh God, it's like the title I care about least in this damn company. They got way too many titles, man. I guess.
Oh Lord.
You know what? Keep it interesting. I think Chris Jericho wins it. You know what? As much as I hate to say it, why not let Hook turn and actually learn from the Learning Tree and eventually have him be under Jericho for a little bit?
What?
And then kind of kill the Learning Tree from the inside. Like you find out months later it was all a ruse to get in with the group. And then he destroys it from the inside. That's the best way to destroy something. Go within the ranks and destroy it from the inside. That's how most systems usually go down. And I'm not talking TNA. But
I don't trust that system either. And I would rather stay homeschooled than learn underneath this Learning Tree. You kidding me?
I'm with you 100%. But I mean, at least that'll make something somewhat compelling if you do something like that, because nobody but my crazy mind would see that coming. So I say Jericho wins.
You're unbelievable. Wow. All right. Well, Chris, are you as insane as Walter, or do you wish to learn from the Learning Tree like him? Because believe it or not, it's not unanimous. What the hell's wrong with you people? 78% chose Hook, though, so at least the majority is going with the challenger. while 21% believe that the learning tree Chris Jericho will continue to lead us for the world as champion. Chris, where do you stand in this? What the fuck?
Hi, Noah. Hi, Walter.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Strat.
I'm going with the learning tree. I'm going with Chris Jericho.
What is wrong with you two?
Hey, what is worse? No, what is actually better? Chris Jericho or Joe Hendry?
Stop! He said his freaking name, you dick!
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Well, first off, that doesn't count here because he's not involved in this company yet. And secondly, damn you for doing that. And third, what the hell's wrong with you two? Are you kidding me? You literally want a Taz family heirloom to still be in the hands of Jericho after how far this learning tree gimmick has gone. This dude feels like he's in a midlife crisis in his mid-50s with this daggum gimmick and this title reinvention that still means jack shit because it's unsanctioned by AEW. I mean, JJ, for what it's worth, he was right. What the hell you do if Huckabee loses here? Send him to Ring of Honor? Pure title? Taka Style versus Hook? Actually, it doesn't sound like a good idea, but when it comes to Hook, his identity is FTW. Period, point blank, simple. Are you kidding me? I'm going against you all here. I'm going with Hook. And damn it, King, you hater. Blasphemy. But that being said, wow, that really went a whole different way. I'm probably going to be unanimous. Boy, this pay-per-view is more polarized than I thought. Anyway, Hook for the win, please and thank you. Burn the learning tree to the ground. All right. Well, thanks for raising my blood pressure. But hey, at least I got to enjoy some Lay's. Favorite type of chip. All right. I'll put those up for later. Let's go ahead and continue, guys. I wonder what the best chips are. Not fries, but actual potato chips are in London. I have to ask Mara Jade, my friend Mega Chiba, that at some point. Cheers to her across the pond. Okay, let's continue. Jesus. Let's go ahead and talk about Walter, the AEW World Tag Team Championships, because at this point, we're talking about Buckingham Palace and the guards that stand at the gate. One guard is FTR, the other guard is the Young Bucks. Do the Acclaim not scissor their way, but nut up and finally break down the gates that are the tag team division and once again become AEW or tag team champions. The bottom line here you got to think about is the fact these titles will be defended once since Dynasty back in April. And the Acclaim beat the Young Bucks in traditional tag team action to earn an eliminator. And of course, they won there and got their shot. But of course, FTR came in. Bucks used their own shenanigans and got them disqualified. Bucks and FTR went to a 30-minute time on collision. Thus, we got a triple threat. If people didn't see this coming, then I don't know what you've been watching. Bottom line here, though, FTR, of course, beat the Young Bucks last year for those very titles, defended them successfully. The Bucks have not lived it down since. And the Acclaim, it might be the most serious the Acclaim's ever been that doesn't involve the colors pink with a championship. Last year, they had a moment. They won the Trios Championships. It was the last title, probably the last title, in Billy Gunn's career. This isn't about Billy Gunn, though. It's about Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. And why I think other teams like Private Party and Top Flight deserve this moment more, this is what we got. The way I see it, though, is with the Acclaim, you give teams like that the chance to probably go after these titles. Or maybe Shane Taylor Promotions, or maybe, insert team here, the MXN Collection. That being said, let's go ahead and start with, Walter on this one. Walter, where do you stand with the AEW World Tag Team Championships? Do they actually change hands? Or are we still gatekeeping the tag team division?
We know how I feel about the Young Bucks. I call them the Young and it rhymes with ducks, but
quack.
We're gonna gatekeep. As much as I hate to say it, it's a title retention. We know they're not gonna book themselves to lose. So much to my chagrin and to those that have to watch it, Young Bucks are gonna retain.
Look at it this way, Walter. You're showing decorum now, but without even super chat, you can show all the raise you want during the call because it's on your YouTube channel, and I'm not going to stop you.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Chris, to be fair, it's literally half of the vote that is going with the chance retaining. And of course, champions not to be involved in the decision to lose them. And the Young Bucks have beaten FTR not under traditional tag team affair, though, might I add. And the Young Bucks have beaten the Acclaim. Of course, all the way back in the pandemic, last time they actually pinned them. It is, though, 35% for FTR, 52% for Young Bucks, 13% for the Acclaim. Top guys, Scissors, or the Elite? Where do you stand, Chris?
I got the Young Bucks to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championship. And personally, I'm like disappointed that they only had one title defense. Only one so far. And this is their second, because under their contracts, they don't have to show up to AEW half the time.
This is what causes my rage to engage. Fucking part-time champions. And AEW finally has some. Damn it. Continue.
What is worse?
No, I got you.
Who is the worst champions? The Young Bucks or Logan Paul?
Jury's out on that. Not gonna lie. And that's a whole different conversation, whether you're talking about personally or professionally.
But I think Young Bucks are gonna retain, and there is a fall team. I think the fall team is going to be FTR, because what happened last year at All in London, FTR beat the Young Bucks. I think it's going to be the complete opposite. Young Bucks pinning FTR for that redemption from last year, what happened at All In. So Young Bucks win by pinning one of the FTR members.
Sometimes I really wonder if a point's worth it before I give my answer, because I see Walter's brain right now is boiling. Go ahead. What's up?
I thought I'd never defend the Young Bucks, but if you actually think within the parameters of their character, it makes sense that they only defended the titles twice. Because if you book yourself and you're the bosses, why the hell would you keep making matches for yourself where you can have the chance to lose the titles? Like, it actually makes a hell of a lot of sense if you're your own booker within the kayfabe world. I wouldn't do it either if I had the title. You know what I mean? So I would put myself in dangerous, crazy matches. So that part actually makes sense.
That's fair. The precious freaking Hobbit from the freaking Hobbit himself, or Gollum. The precious being the Young Bucks is pulled on the tag team gold. And I do think, for that matter, the fact that this was made triple threat was for that purpose, because something tells me the definition of fight forever in tag team wrestling in AEW is FTR and the Young Bucks. I mean, how many times have we really revisited this same old song on Dynamite, on pay-per-view, under every circumstance possible, traditional or non-traditional factor? I mean, seriously, these guys have been at each other's throats virtually before the pandemic. And it feels like it has to end with these two somehow. So what do? You neutralize the Acclaim out of the picture. If FTR can't beat the Acclaim fairly, FTR has a chance to beat the Acclaim here to win the titles. But if the Young Bucks beat FTR here, not only do they finally beat FTR under tag team championship traditional situations without ladders in extreme circumstances, despite the fact triple threat's no disqualification, they also neutralize the Acclaim and cut them out completely. So it's almost like Young Bucks killing two birds with one stone. And this whole identity of the Elite right now, all holding gold, which for the time being they do, it does make sense under a character standpoint, if nothing else, despite the fact I hate it. And I do want to see a tag team not named FTR, not named the Young Bucks, and not named the Acclaim actually hold the AEW Tag Team Championships. But I guess Wembley is not the place. So, yeah, I agree. I think the Young Bucks will retain too. I don't think this is the night we're going to see necessarily this foundation of this new Elite. Why is everything a 2.0 in a bootleg anymore? Judgment Day, Bloodline, Elite. Why the hell is nothing original? Oh, who am I kidding? It's the wrestling industry. Yeah, I'll go with the Young Bucks retaining too. Dadgummit. All right, well, that seems pretty simple. I'm sure this is going to be simple, Chris, for you to call, because cause and effect. We had two members of the Elite retain. What do you think about the other? Then again, how far are these two willing to sacrifice against each other? It's a coffin match for the TNT Championship as the scapegoat, Jack Perry, defends his new blacksmith knitted title, darker than his soul and his jacket, against Darby Allin, who might as well be a human cadaver. And the only thing it hasn't been hit with at this point is a double-decker bus. Please don't get hit with a bus by Sunday. I'm just saying. But there's a caveat to think about here, because no matter what, at the end of this match, Darby Allin will challenge for the AEW Championship next month in September at Arthur Ashe Stadium at Grand Slam after winning Royal Rampage. So does Darby Allin have potential to become a double champion? Do we leave him 6 feet under as a cadaver and then bring him back closer towards Grand Slam, considering who could be champion there? Or do we get a serious WTF moment and the title that was most important to Darby Allin, he gets back against his most formidable foe and bitter enemy in somebody that's more maybe crazier than him, cry me a river if you dare, in Jack Perry. Of course, we know the only way in a coffin match, you stuff your opponent in the coffin. And might I add, Darby Allin is undefeated in coffin matches in AEW. Andrade, All Ego Page, and let's not forget last year, he and Sting planets for a stricken inside a coffin. Just be damned. Chris, where do you stand on the TNT Championship match? Is it RIP for Darby Allin or Jack Perry?
Well, you brought it up that Darby Allin has never lost a coffin match, and he's undefeated in that. And now you just said that Darby Allin is going to Grand Slam the challenge for the AEW World Championship in
Correct.
September at Arthur Ashe Stadium. That is like a given that Jack Perry is going to retain the TNT Championship. And personally, the new look TNT Championship is like black. It's sick looking, and personally, it looks good on Jack Perry. But if Darby Allin would win this, it will probably look even better on Darby Allin. But sorry, Darby, you're not going to win the coffin match. Here, the streak comes to an end. Jack Perry's going to be winning this, and I will be shocked if it's a regular coffin or a breakaway coffin. But if it's just a regular coffin where you could just put them in and close the door shut, I would be shocked if we see Sting in the coffin, and Sting magically returns on Sunday to help Darby Allin out in a way. But Sting is enjoying his retirement. He's
that's the
not going to get involved.
Thankfully.
So yeah, Jack Perry retains the TNT Championship.
I just pray to God, Walter, the coffin is not a glass coffin. Just saying. But anyway, Walter, where do you stand in this? Because you know as well as I do, this is not only the most violent match we're going to see, it's the most dangerous, seeing what both these men are willing to do, not to each other, but to their own damn bodies.
Did he freeze?
No.
Or was that Mike?
I was just waiting for you to respond. Chris is here.
Chris, did he freeze?
No, Chris is here.
Froze.
We're all here. We're all here. We can see you. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. I lost you for a second.
Okay. Well, internet, technical difficulties, but there won't be nothing technical about this. This is going to be a manslaughter.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, God. Why did you put that out in the universe, a glass casket?
Because you know what these two fucking yahoos are willing to do. One did it this year at Revolution, must I remind you?
Yeah, that's true. But
Off
yeah,
a damn ladder.
In no way am I comparing Darby to Undertaker, but if his streak had to come to an end, then I think Darby's streak has got to come to an end too. I think Jack Perry retains here. He just recently got this title. It's too early for him to lose it, and I just feel like you need strong matches and strong opponents to defend this title against him for anyone to take Jack Perry serious. Not that anybody would after, but I mean, at least to make it make it a legit champion, you have to defend it strongly against some strong opponents. And why not beat someone at their own match? So that's one way to do it, to book it that way. So I hate to have to admit it, but I think Jack Perry retains.
And to your
maybe I'll go cry myself a mirror.
Yeah, you're gonna cry. You're gonna cry yourself a river after this, and not in the River Times, but the River Times will run red with Darby Allin's blood. By the way, you're making it sound. It almost makes me wonder though, after what Darby Allin nearly did to him at Blood and Guts, the one of the damnedest moments ever, literally trying to crucify the man. I do wonder if Jack Perry is gonna go. You talk about Undertaker. Let's not forget what Randy Orton once tried to do to the Undertaker inside a coffin, try to burn him alive while he was inside it. You wonder if Jack Perry is willing to do that or going to try and do that if he puts Darby Allin in the coffin. Or does Darby coffin drop himself in the coffin from something stupid high, like maybe the truss around the ring? One of these two is going to fall from a freaking high height. I just know it. This is going to be ridiculous. We're going to see a man break themselves in half. And I'm going to go, good God Almighty, I guarantee you. But yeah, and again, the only thing that's for sure about Darby is nothing. Because this man will literally give his life for professional wrestling because that's the way he lives. He is relentless. And Jack Perry just doesn't give a shit. Period.
There's an old saying to die in the ring because that's the best way to go. I wouldn't put that past Darby Allin actually being the one wrestler that just dies in the ring because when he's old and retired, like, or instead of retiring, he'd just die in the ring when he's old. Like it just fit him, and we wouldn't even be sad about it. I don't think because like that's the way he want to go.
Well, who are we to dictate a person's life? But when you ask Jack Perry again, what did Jack Perry say? How far are you willing to sacrifice? Who's going to sacrifice more of their own well-being here? That's the real question. That's more unpredictable. But I do agree with both of you that Jack Perry will retain because again, in this bootleg elite, they all hold the gold.
That's not a bad booking, Noah. That he's going to do something so dangerous, so crazy, he knocks himself out in the casket, and Jack Perry just wins by default. Like
exactly. Or he misses and crashes through something, and we literally see a broken, bloodied carcass drag and close into a coffin with Jack Perry standing tall over it.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. Darby Allin. See you at Grand Slam in NYC. Just saying. All right. Well, let's go ahead and have a little bit more flexibility and fun in the unknown as far as who could show up in this unique concept, AEW owned. It is the Casino Gauntlet match once again in AEW. And for those that don't know, it is a Casino Gauntlet match. It starts with two men. Others enter at random intervals, but the match can end at any time via pinfall or submission. There is no elimination. And the winner of this match is guaranteed a world title shot. Date, place, and opponent to be determined. The only thing we know for sure about this match is Evil Uno. Well, he got a chair in the back. He may not be in it. Orange Cassidy is number one after being Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly. We also know that Heyman and Page, Cowboy Shishnak, is going to be involved in this too, and he's hell bent on making sure that everything Swerve has is left to Ash. We also know, rumor has it, that the one and only might be making his way, and he even might arrive at Wembley Stadium. But that being said, we also know AEW, they have partnerships. We've seen people from CMLL involved in this. We're also in London, the home of Rev Pro, and they have interest in Rev Pro Town, including Michael Oku and his partner Amira. And I even talked about Luke Jacobs earlier. We also know that there are a bunch of free agents now on the market that could show up in this thing too, including one, Donovan Dijakovic, who just recently had a match in Rev Pro. I don't think he's too far away from Wembley Stadium if he's still over in the UK. I'm just saying. Now, the way this works, of course, with random matches as we do, as is predictions tradition, you get two picks. Primary worth 2, secondary worth 1. Both must be different. But if your pick wins, you get the points. It's as simple as that. If neither of your picks wins, you're out of luck. So let's go ahead and rattle your brains a little bit and see what crazy 2 or wise 2 or maybe predictable 2 you guys picked, whether they're in or out of AEW. Chris, we'll start with you. What's your 2 names to win the Casino Gauntlet match to challenge for the world title at a later date against Swerve Strickland or Bryan Danielson?
Well, you guys brought up about the Casino ladder match, what surprises. I think I have a couple of surprises that I could see showing up. So I'm going to talk about the surprises first and then go into my picks.
right.
My surprises is the rumor superstar, the one and only Ricochet. I think he will probably be in this match and debut. He's going to do wonders in AEW. He's going to put on banger matches. He's going to do great. who also I could see show up in this if we're talking about free agents, maybe the almighty Bobby Lashley. He can show up, maybe MVP, Shelton Benjamin. Who else? Maybe we could see Here Comes the Money. Maybe Shane
Oh, dear
O'Mac.
He'll tear his quad on the way down the walkway. Sorry, Josh.
Shane McMahon. We could
He'll
see
tear it during
him.
the dancing.
Or
damn it.
who else I could see is maybe a returning Jay White, because we haven't seen Jay White in a very long time.
It's been a
So
moment.
I think Jay White is a perfect choice to come back. But my primary pick is going to be Hangman Adam Page. And my secondary, Orange Cassidy.
Got to get the people what they want. All right, fair enough. Well, I mean, Walter, let's be honest here. Who did not think about Ricochet at least being involved in this? I mean, it's the biggest number picked from everybody for both primary and secondary. Good job, by the way, folks. But I also do see Adam Cole, baby. Switchblade Jay White, the natural Dustin Rhodes. I see Wardlow. I see John Moxley, who's been on vacation. About damn time. He deserves it. Respect, earn it, and enjoy it. But it does mostly seem like people are going within AEW only as far as the winner goes. So, Walter, where do you stand this? What do you expect? Who do you think could be the biggest surprise, not reported, that could be in this Casino Gauntlet match and make an impression in AEW?
I think Chris said most of the surprises. So with that being said, my primary pick is Prince Puma himself. And for those who don't know, that's Ricochet's independent name. So I don't know if he's gonna go back to Prince Puma or Ricochet or I don't know. I don't know if WWE owns. Yeah, I do my research. I don't know if WWE owns that name, which is why I said Prince Puma, because I really don't know if WWE owns that name or not.
Right.
So Prince Puma is my primary, and I'm gonna agree with Chris. His primary was Hangman Adam Page. That's my secondary, because I just feel like this whole new character change he's on and trajectory might lead him to have to go after that title again, because we all know how he vowed that whether he's champion or not, he can't let Swerve be the champion, and Swerve is the champion already. So he's gonna have to go back on his whatever he has to do to get that title off of Swerve by any means necessary, or Bryan Danielson. So I don't give up my pick. So either one of them, Hangman Page is gonna have to go after them.
Yeah, and when it comes to Hangman Adam Page, casino level atmosphere seemed to favor him. He won the first ever, to your point, Casino Battle Royal match back at Double Up 2019. He won the Casino ladder match at one point to, of course, challenge for the World Championship. I think it was the year he beat Kenny Omega. And now we have the Casino Gauntlet match, third ever Casino Gauntlet match. The other two, of course, they were won by Will Ospreay, who, of course, will not be involved here, as we'll talk about here shortly. So, if nothing else, I do think that Hangman Adam Page is the safe bet. So I think I will go with him as primary. But secondary here just leads so much more to speculation, considering who do you put up against Bryan Danielson or Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship? Whether it's a match you revisit or whether it's a one-time. It was up to me, it'd be Kenny Omega, but he's fighting diverticulitis. I don't think Kenosha needs to be involved here after his run in the G1, because he doesn't need to be stagnant into a match he's obviously going to lose when it comes to a championship. Damn it, AEW, get your shit together. Wardlow's a fair shout, but the last time he challenged for the world title was against Samoa Joe. You saw him live, Walter. He went to sleep. Lance Archer, the guy that literally could destroy everybody. He always has his moments, but he doesn't need a title, and I just don't think they're willing to put the world title on him or give him a world title match at this moment, despite how many matches he's had for it. But yeah, Orange Cassidy, who arguably has had the most matches in AEW history, and I think the most wins, is a fair shout. And I think, honestly, Orange Cassidy is one of the biggest MVPs in this company. So yeah, keep it simple. I'm going with Hangman Adam Page and Orange Cassidy in that order. But John Moxley showing up is not a bad shout either. But guys, he brought that title out of the dark to light when there was interim behind it. Thank Christ, no longer living in that era. He doesn't need to put this company on his back anymore. I think he's on vacation finally for a reason. Let him enjoy it. Just saying. All right. Well, that was pretty simple. Well, I just said the All Elite bruv, so let's go ahead and go right into what I think best way to kick off our triple main event, because these are the three most biggest matches on this card, in my opinion. And it doesn't get bigger than this guy coming back home to his stomping grounds in the UK. Let's talk about the AEW American Championship as our scumbag, the current face of America, America's hero. Oh, good Lord almighty, this guy's ego. Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF, who's already defended his title in both Mexico and London, defends the gold against the all-elite bruv Will Ospreay, looking to restore it to international glory. The bottom line here, simply put, 2 words for you. Tiger Driver? Question mark. That is the question. Because I think it comes down to that. That determines a winner more than anything else. Now, of course, we know this really stems back to a fallout on disrespect. And if Daniel Garcia, unfortunately, was an innocent asset that fell in this after MJF literally pile drived him on his head. Next thing you know, we have Will Ospreay and MJF, 59 minutes, 58 seconds, 100K Dynamite Diamond ring to allow him to steal this title with 2 seconds left on the clock. Still can't fucking believe that happened. And since then, he's christened the American Championship. And this guy makes JBL look like a saint. And I can't believe I just said that. Well, actually, no, nothing can do that. But that being said, well, Ospreay, who, again, wanted to get a title and take it global, he had that early on after being Roger Strong back at Dynasty. And since Will Ospreay has been involved in AEW, he's only had 2 losses, Swerve Strickland and MJF. But the bigger thing here versus his physical capability is his mental capacity and how personal MJF has made it, including trying to threaten his brother for life in Kyle Fletcher, Crown Sub for United Empire, and also fellow running mate endorsed in Rev Pro, also racing the UK scene, Michael Oku, after nearly Tiger driving his partner, Amara. That's fucked up. But we also know MJF is jealous, envious, and can be very childish. And Will Ospreay exposed that. Bryan Danielson, though, the biggest change in Will Ospreay's mindset, simply told him, though, do it. Now, of course, it was after the segment with Will Ospreay and MJF on Dynamite after Will Ospreay was laid out with that Dynamite Diamond ring bleeding red. That being said, we also know after this, regardless, the winner is going to have the bastard Pac waiting for them at AEW All Out to challenge for that title when it was originally called the All Atlantic Championship. And Pac was the inaugural champion. That being said, let's go around and get y'all's thoughts towards this. And I'll simply start with this. The poll has Will Ospreay winning at 73%. In front of his family, his wife, his son, in front of 42 fans, according to what I heard on the close-up of Nick Paquette. Walter, where do you stand on the AEW American Championship? Do we restore it back to international glory? Or does MJF once again prove that he's better than you, and you know it, and the only country that matters is the USA too?
Yeah, this one was a little harder for me to pick than you would think. But I think you said it. I think it comes to that Tiger Driver. And I think he's going to hesitate and not want to use it. And MJF's going to take advantage and win. But I do think we'll see it. We'll see the Tiger Driver after much hesitation. We'll finally see it. The problem is MJF's going to probably kick out, and that's going to devastate Will Ospreay. He's not going to know what to do. And that is the reason why he loses. Ultimately, it's him standing in his own way that makes him lose because someone kicked out of that Tiger Driver. We've seen MJF already do it. I mean, there was a hesitation between the count. So it gives you an excuse as to why you kick out. But yeah, and it's what bigger of a bastard well, Pac is the bastard, so let me not say bastard, but what bigger heel move it is to beat someone in their home country and like rub it and get to rub it in their face that you got their title, and I mean that you have the title and you changed it, and in front of their home country, their home town, their family, their friends, you beat them. That's like as humiliating as you can get, but it's such a dick heel move. And does that not fit MJF to a T? Like that, it's the thing to do. Like it works with his character. So I feel like you almost gotta have MJF win in London to just be, that asshole, and to be able to say, what did he call himself? He's our what's the word?
Scumbag.
our scumbag. Yeah, now he can go back to saying, "Nope, I'm just a scumbag." He's not ours anymore. So by doing that, just by beating him in front of his own country, so that's the scumbag move to do. So I gotta say, MJF retains.
Wow. All right. Interesting. Well, Chris, we know we're going to All Out, and the Bastard Pot waits for this title. We also know we're going to Arthur Stadium in the Shadow of New York, home of MJF, of course, in Long Island, home of Red Death. Daniel Garcia is Buffalo, and Matt Menard did say when Danny comes back, you're not getting the dancing, Danny. You're getting Red Death. And I know that Daniel Garcia is going to be hell bent on not this championship, but breaking MJF. Does he show up in Wembley? Maybe that's the next factor. Does Don Callis, who screwed driver Kenny Omega, does he screw Will Ospreay after Will Ospreay showed maybe weakness and kindness, and Don Callis only wants to see hatred to the finest and the fullest? Does Kyle Fletcher maybe get involved here and encourage Will Ospreay or cost him? Walter made it seem pretty kind of dry, but I think there's more than meets the eye here when it comes to the outside factors that get involved here besides Will Ospreay's mentality. So where do you stand in this regarding the future of the AEW American / International Championship?
Well, in all of my predictions here so far, I haven't picked a title change at all.
Correct.
This is going to be the first title change of the night. I got my boy. I got the Brav. I got Will Ospreay becoming the new AEW International Championship, and he is going to reverse American into International on Sunday. And then we get Will Ospreay versus Pac at All Out on September 7th with MJF. He did a good job with that championship, but it's time Will Ospreay gets that championship back. And this is the thing. What you said about Daniel Garcia, I was looking into that. And I just feel if Daniel Garcia shows up here, then it's going to be MJF's going to win, and we're going to get MJF Daniel Garcia for the championship down the road. Maybe Arthur Ashe Stadium, and Daniel Garcia is the one to take the title off of MJF. But overall, Will Ospreay wins in his home country, gets the championship, and put American, reverse it back into International on Sunday. So Will Ospreay for the win.
And since I am the decider, I am just going to simply say, crowns up. I agree with you. At the end of the day, I think MJF just used this to further his ego, but also elevate this championship, considering what Will Ospreay's done since being part of AEW, but his record of wins against some of the greatest talent you have on the best wrestling roster on the planet right now. Adding MJF's name to that is only going to elevate Will Ospreay and this title. And it's a fitting story, honestly, when you think about it. The villain comes into enemy territory, and the hero comes out triumphant in the end. And it'll be 2 years in a row at Wembley Stadium. And MJF is always going to be the guy to find some sort of excuse, some sort of plot, some sort of ploy, some sort of way to be the talking point and prove why he is better than you. At the end of the day, it's also about who's the best in the world. And clearly right now, whoever wins this, they could finally say that. And I think it's going to be Will Ospreay. Bruv. But I also do think after this, I just thought about something. If this match happens before the Casino Gauntlet, we could see MJF actually involved in the Casino Gauntlet match now that I think about it. Let's not forget last year he was involved in Wembley twice. And remember, he is the longest reigning AEW World Champion. And one of his last encounters backstage was against the current champion. And he and Swerve have never met each other one-on-one in AEW. They haven't met each other in the ring yet. So that's just another thing to think about as well. We also know he has a victory over Bryan Danielson. So it's just one of those things where I see direction for MJF, But I see Will Ospreay elevating this. And why would you have two heels face each other at All Out for a championship? I'm just saying. The bruv versus the bastard. It's Britt versus Britt for an international title. It all makes sense. You gotta go Will Ospreay here for the moment. It's gonna be the biggest moment of the night, arguably, maybe, don't know, possibly. Going with Will Ospreay for the win. All right. Well, that being said, spotlight, lights, camera, action. It's showtime. Let's put on a show, folks. In the timeless last to come forward, timeless Toni Storm defends the AEW Women's World Championship against her greatest rival, her greatest foe, her greatest threat, the Glamour, Mariah May. It is teacher versus protege, and it will be sealed with a kiss in the end. I guarantee you. All right, so simply put, as we know, Mariah May came in to AEW from Stardom, the biggest fan of Toni Storm, and they were bosom buddies doing everything together to the point Mariah May wanted to be Toni Storm and became just that. In the end, though, Toni Storm gave her everything except for one thing, that AEW Women's World Championship. Now with a guaranteed opportunity, of course, for the title to win the Owen, she showed her true colors, and literally the one thing Toni Storm told us to watch out for, she fell victim to. That shoe planted in her head as Toni Storm was screaming Mariah May's name in bloody agony, quite literally. And now Toni Storm said that she is willing to die. Is Mariah May willing to do the same as Mariah May looks to write Toni Storm's eulogy? It's going to be the greatest spectacle in the AEW Women's Division history here with these two. With that being said, black and white, red aside, shades of gray, not 50. I'm not thinking like that, folks. And Mina Shirakawa also back in the States. You talk about story time, you talk about growth development, you talk about quality, you talk about moments. And by the way, Mariah May is also from the UK. If Mariah May doesn't win this, I will be bloody shocked. But it's a matter of how far she goes for the win before she seals with a kiss of death. That being said, I'm kicking things off clearly in the last time in Timeless Faction as Toni Storm goes down in a blaze of glory. I have a new AEW Women's World Champion, and true AEW will be all about Mariah. I'm also going to give a shout out to the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. Go follow him, folks, Castlevania Studios, as he will have a movie review 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday for the movie All About Eve, which heavily discusses basically a parallel of what this entire AEW Women's World Championship story has been since Thomas Toni Storm won the title full gear and Mariah May came in at January. I just wonder if the subplot at the end is going to be the same and the epilogue to follow is going to be glamorous or something even more sinister. That being said, I have a new champion. Chris, where do you stand with the state of the AEW Women's Division, AEW Women's World Championship? Does it become all about Mariah? And does Toni Storm avoid the shoe but fall to something else?
Well, we got to look at this. Last year at All in London, the AEW Women's World Championship, we had a new champion in Saraya. She's from England. We go towards All in London, the sequel on Sunday with Mariah May, Timeless Toni Storm. And I'm telling you, this has been, I'm going to say it again, they have built this women's championship up perfectly between Timeless and the Glamour. This Sunday, I'm going for my second championship title change. I got the Glamour Mariah May to dethrone Timeless Toni Storm on Sunday. And I'm going to tell you, Timeless Toni Storm, she has done a fabulous job holding the AEW World Championship, Women's World Championship. She did a fantastic job. She had a good run with the championship. And I feel in a way, maybe 5 to 10 years from now, everybody's going to talk about that Toni Storm is possibly going to be one of the greatest AEW Women's World Champions of all time. Her character is unbelievable. And personally, it's time for a change. It's time for the Glamour to take center stage and hold that AEW Women's World Championship once and for all. And the student will overcome the teaster. The Glamour beats Timeless on Sunday night.
All right. Well, let's see what the wow. Man, I don't know if people really are just invested in the Timeless era or they truly are not sure what to think at this moment. Believe it or not, guys, it's about 50-50. 52% are going with a new champion. 47% believe that Timeless Tony Storm will retain. I mean, again, creative circumstances have happened, but this is a filibuster that feels like it doesn't come out with a happy ending. It feels like the villain actually has to win here in the end, considering what they've done in the storytelling. I would be bloody shocked, but I also do wonder to what depths do you have Timeless Toy Storm survive to actually retain the championship? And in what reality? That being said, Walter, what do you think? It's right now 2 for the Glamour. Never has something so glamorous, seems so beautiful and so sinister, and I am all in on it. Where do you stand, Walter?
Well, we may be in August, but in the words of Justin Timberlake, it's gonna be May. I think it all points to Mariah May. Otherwise, what was the point of her turning on Tony? Like the whole point of it was to beat her and to prove that she's no longer needs to be a protege. She needs to be the teacher now. Student overcomes the teacher. It's a classic story, but Tony has done such a great job. But I'm sorry, I think the closing credits are coming up on her movie. The story is over, and we may have to stay after because there's cutscenes after when you watch a Marvel movie. But
Oh God,
I think the finishing credits are done. I think Mariah May wins. Now, does she have some kind of surprise? Like, hey, maybe Paige joins her. Maybe she forms her own group. Like, remember Tony Storm and Mariah May had a group. They had their thing going, and then May disrupted it. So maybe she has her own group coming out. Who knows? But it's time for her movie to end, and we got a new AEW World Champion. Maybe we'll get a sequel because she gets a rematch, but I think Mariah May dominates. Well, not dominates, but she wins.
Yeah, sealed with a kiss and probably another shoot in the head. It just feels like to me it has to be Mariah May at this moment. You were talking about like an epilogue or a teaser to a possible sequel, or Mariah May, first follow to her series in The Glamour. It's just one of those things where, again, I know King brought up Megan Bain. I know I brought up other names as well. I also do think about the former AEW Women's Champion that's also from the UK. If they don't put her alongside Britt Baker, I could see a great story ahead with Mariah May and Jamie Hayter. But I still lean more towards the fact that right now this is about love, betrayal, hatred, the rise of a star by any means necessary. Let's not forget somebody that literally was a sister to Mariah May is back here in the States, and that is Mina Shirakawa. And you're talking about Joshi Pro, strong style and emotions galore. Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May go a one-on-one for this title, possibly at Wrestle Dream, could be Mina's nightmare. I think that could literally be the first story they try and build out of this, because I don't think we're going to see Timeless Toy Storm after this. I don't. I think Mariah May, like she said, is going to write her own eulogy for the timeless wonder of AEW as she builds her own stardom. And it just feels like to me that this is, as you said, curtain call, this is the final act of the timeless era as we know it. No longer will that tile be in black and white. It'll be shed in Toni Storm's blood in red as the Glamour holds it up in full colorful glory in gold. Yeah, Mariah May's winning. I just can't see Mariah May losing. Daniel, good to see you. I see Mariah May after the death of Timeless Toni Storm. I think with Toni Storm lost, we will see a crazy chick side Toni Storm. Well, I mean, she is a Motley Crue fan, so maybe she returns to that. But we all saw what happened when she went from illustrious to timeless. But if you're not timeless, what are you? I guess it's up to Toni Storm to figure out. But still, quite a run since last year, Full Gear. Arguably the best women's champion in AEW history and one of the best women's champions right now in the entire industry, consistently. Just saying. Bravo. All right. Well, that being said, There you go.
I got to give it to Tony. She's one of the best booked women in AEW ever. Like, but
Yeah,
all good things have to come to an end. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll have a standing ovation regardless of how this finale and this show ends, because respect to these incredible women for what they're going to do regarding that championship. End scene. Okay, well, that being said, we've had a lot of fun, a lot of talk, a lot of chat, a lot of polarizing conversation, but it all comes down to this. Non-copyright, damn it, non-copyright, but damn it, I don't care if it's $200,000. You best play it. It's the final match. Let's get right down to it. It's time to discuss the main event. It's the final countdown in what could be the very last stand in professional wrestling for arguably one of the greatest of all time these last 20 years. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, goes one-on-one for the AEW World Championship against Swerve Strickland, and it is title versus career. How far do you push a man? How tough do you test a wrestler? How pissed off did you fucking make this father? Think about that. Let's fucking go, folks. All right, so we're going into whose house? Of course, first, that will be Swerve's house. And Swerve has already shown us that everybody else to him outside this town is nothing more but a body. And he still feels that disrespect, that massive Mount Everest chip on his shoulder to this day, despite the fact he's been defining and leading this dynasty. Figuring that Bryan Danielson's already accepted the fact that he's going to retire, but Swerve doesn't want just that. He wants to injure him. He wants to make it personal to the point that it affects his family forever. And according to what we heard, Bryan Danielson's family will be there. That being said, Bryan Danielson started this final countdown on his career this last Odyssey in the beginning of January. And has not had the strongest record, but it has had incredible moments against the likes of Kazuchika Okada, Hechicero, Zack Sabre Jr., just to name a couple. But this is his last chance, his fifth chance now at the AEW World Championship. And keep in mind a couple of other things. Casino Gauntlet match winner will challenge for this title at some point. And next month in September at Upper Air Stadium, the title will be defended against Darby Allin. We're looking at Swerve and Bryan, two proud men from Seattle to find their own way through professional wrestling. Damn it. Swerve Strickland, of course, who literally took the kill shot, everything he needed to do to win this title against Samoa Joe at Dynasty. And we're looking at a man that's not going in here at 100%, that is due for surgery regardless of the outcome of this, but says he's mentally stronger than ever and really came forward with that Wednesday night on Dynamite. This is it, guys. You define the future of the AEW World Championship and possibly the end of Bryan Danielson as we know it, and you got to ask yourself more than him if you will feel fine. Before I give it to Walter to kick things off, it is 58% in favor of Bryan Danielson winning the AEW World Championship and having one last moment at Wembley Stadium. 41% for Swerve Strickland. If Swerve wins here, he cements his legacy as far as I'm concerned in professional wrestling. If Bryan Danielson wins here, though, I couldn't think of a greater moment and a more deserving individual than this business to get it at this stage. Walter, it's on you. Who leads Wembley Stadium as the AEW World Champion? Is it the end of Bryan Danielson's career as we know it, or will we be chanting yes, the top of our lungs, that he did it?
Okay, yeah. Not that any of us can get into Tony Khan's crazy ass mind or brain, but
right,
you think about it from a business standpoint. It's a great feel-good moment for Bryan Danielson to win that title, and in front of 70,000 plus people, everybody screaming and yelling. However, you already went through a period where MJF had your title and he was injured and you barely can see that title on TV. He had to work hurt. You already know Bryan Danielson seriously needs in real life neck surgery. Are you really going to book someone to win that championship and then your main champion is going to be off TV for months? Who knows how that surgery can go? You can have the greatest doctor in the world, but when somebody goes under the knife, anything can go wrong. So, prayers and shout out to him when he does have that surgery. But I'm not that I want to put negativity out in the atmosphere, but anything can happen when you have surgery. So why would you risk and why would you want the biggest title you have to go on somebody that is already going to need time off after they win it? So for that reason, I'm gonna have to go with Swerve here. And as much as I want Brian to win it, and that's my son's favorite wrestler, it'd be such a great moment. It just wouldn't make sense. A lot of crap that happens in wrestling that doesn't make sense, but I just don't think it'll make sense to have him win the title and then immediately take time off to have surgery. I know it's a feel good moment and everything is awesome, but you can't always get what you want. You can't always have the feel good moment. And if you think about old school wrestling and old school mentality, when you're gone and you're retired, people get back to the business and they like to look up at the lights on their last match and lose that way. And he'll still can get his moment because after Swerve leaves and pins Brian, he's going to be in the middle of that ring and everybody's going to say thank you, Brian, and it like the pay-per-view won't end. It'll probably be an extra 10 minutes of everybody just clapping and saying thank you to him for the great career he's had. So I think it's a sending away. That's what's going to happen after he loses a great fought battle. Everybody's just going to cheer. Maybe Swerve even does it, cheer on the outside, maybe gives him the belt and then walks out, let Bryan Danielson have his moment. So that's what I feel like. You'll see the title maybe on his shoulder at the end, but he didn't win the match. So I say Swerve keeps that title.
It's very conscious mindset. I appreciate that, Walter, considering at the end of the day, we're professional wrestling fans, but also you as a father, you understand the extreme circumstances and risks that Bryan Danielson is putting on himself regarding his well-being. But we also know how much this man prides himself more than anything in professional wrestling. The only thing that pretty much is above that is his family. And again, it's the final countdown. It might be the last stand of the American Dragon. That being said, Daniel here with an interesting Fox is bringing that up. Bryan Danielson for the win, because I think we will have a surprise in store after the main event. That is Shane McMahon will be on the stage at the end of the pay-per-view. And considering the history there, and also when we think about Shane and what he thinks about the wrestling business, I think it would be kind of interesting to see that. But Shane McMahon, Bryan Danielson, I don't know. I think William Regal would be a bigger pop and more important to really be there and just raise the hand, considering he talked about how he is the perfect wrestler, and Bryan held up William Regal to the level of a father figure. And I do think there's some foreshadowing here, considering that flannel he wore Wednesday, if Aubrey's the referee, God help her spirit. That's the same flannel, folks, he was in when he first retired back in WWE, and we thought that he literally was done. But as he says, if you fight for your dreams will fight for you. And this argument has been the greatest run of wrestling history we've seen out of the American Dragon Bryan Danielson since Ring of Honor. How fitting again if he comes at the final countdown. Well, Chris, that being said, it right now is one Swerve Strickland. The poll is going for the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, I think clearly for the moment. But I also want to put this out here real quick too, not that I'm trying to level your judgments. Casino Gauntlet match. Winner has an AEW Championship shot. Offer has Stam Grand Slam. September. Somebody named Darby Allin is challenged for the AEW World Championship. If Bryan wins for the moment, not for the run, how polite would it be trying to get back to the business, standing there, and whether it was at Wembley or the following Dynamite, saying, I had my moment, I proved a point, but it's someone else's time to leave what I started. He vacates the title, and we determine a new champion at Offer at Stadium with those two circumstances. And Swerve challenges later for it. Just saying. Just saying. That being said, Chris, with Wrestle Dream on the horizon with Tacoma, Washington, by the way, not very far away from Bryan Danielson's home turf, might I add. Where do you stand right now with the AEW World Championship come Sunday?
Well, this is all about the moment and the business side of things. And this is like actually hard to pick because
you go with your mind or with your heart?
Because you guys said if Bryan Danielson wins here, he has to get surgery right after.
Well, maybe, but he is due for surgery. He's already said it verbatim.
And we also got counter in the Casino Gauntlet match. We're thinking Hangman's gonna win.
Remember the last time Bryan had a match?
That's the thing. And this is the thing with the Casino Gauntlet match.
That seems accurate.
it's you guaranteed a world title shot. This is the thing. It's not going to happen at All Out. It's not going to happen in Arthur Ashe Stadium. I think that guaranteed world title shot is going to happen at Wrestle Dream. And if we're saying Hangman Adam Page, I said 2 title changes. This is my third. This is going to be my third title change. I got Bryan Danielson finally gain the AEW World Championship for the first time in his last year run with AEW. I got Bryan Danielson winning the AEW World Championship. He could celebrate with his family. He could celebrate with his daughter, his son, Brie Garcia. It's going to be so weird seeing Brie Garcia in AEW, not in WWE. That's going to be so weird on Sunday night. That's going to be so weird to see.
About 2 family moments here on this show.
But I do feel this is Bryan Danielson, hurrah. This is Bryan Danielson's time. He is the best technical wrestler of all time. And he's possibly going to be one of the best professional wrestlers of all time. I see him live in person wrestling, see him on television. He's going out in a blaze of glory. I can't wait for Tony Khan to stash up all the money in the whole entire universe to play the final countdown song this Sunday in Wembley Stadium, because Wembley Stadium is going to go bonkers when that song goes off with a bang.
I know you and I are.
So I'm ready to hear that song Sunday. Bryan Danielson wins the AEW World Championship, and I think Wrestle Dream in Washington is going to be where he's going to retire, and Hangman Adam Page is probably going to be the next AEW World Championship. And hey, Hangman, he could go be a full-time member with the Elite.
Oh, God, don't put that out there in the ether.
And then Bryan Danielson, he said that he wants to still be with AEW behind the scenes. I feel in a way Tony Khan is going to have Bryan Danielson on the creative team to maybe help with creative, give him his mindset where things could play out. And I see it happening. So I got Bryan Danielson becoming a new AEW World Champion, and there's going to be 3 title changes on Sunday.
And 2 incredible family moments. Talk about Will Ospreay getting the win for his family and his country. Bryan Danielson getting the win for his family, make WrestleMania 30 look like child's play. It was all meant to be, right? Well, again, I've been saying how much Wrestle Dream could be somebody's nightmare. We know what Swerve Strickland's willing to do for whatever he wants. We also know what Swerve Strickland's willing to do when it comes to somebody that crosses him. And with how personal this got, it's really a match that blurs the line between personal and professional. And Bryan Danielson, he is a guy about endorsing the future. Before Wednesday night, I truly thought that Swerve Strickland was going to win because I think that Swerve has truly tried to cement a point and truly try to put AEW on his back. He has gone all in for this company. But I'll be damned if you tell me that Bryan Danielson hasn't gone all in on this business and is owed something. So looking at what happened on Wednesday night, hearing what Bryan said, and looking at right now where we stand with the fall season, and this is going to be our closing moment. This is going to be the match that ends Wembley Stadium. This is our main event. How do you end that? Seriously, you don't end that with a sour note. You look at the moment versus longevity. I think me and JJ said it perfectly last night. It's not about long title runs. It's about the moment you make. I said it myself. it's not about the championship. It's about what the person does with the championship, whether it's in the moment or in defending it. And sometimes moments, they outweigh a championship run. Acknowledge that fact. So I think for me, Walter, I'm still going to stick with my guns, and I am balancing probably more heart than mind after what you brought up. Again, you're a father. I'm not. I think Bryan Danielson does get this final moment, this final hurrah in the grandest way possible. What happens following that ahead of the 5th anniversary of Diamond and Grand Slam and all that? And let man Tony Khan figure it out, all right? Because let's be honest here, Grand Slam, the biggest match on that card is going to be MJF versus insert name here at this point. But I just think right now that Bryan, he not only deserves this moment, he earned it. After what Jeff Jarrett said, pushed about him going all in, after Swerve saying that you truly are all in, but hold that promise to your family, it just feels so damn effing poetic for Bryan Danielson to have this at Wembley Stadium. I'll worry about Monday night when it gets here. But damn it, Sunday Eve here in the States needs to end with me seeing Bryan Danielson holding that AEW World Championship and me probably breaking something around here and over talking you unless you truly show me your excited rage. And I expect that from you. Bryan Danielson for the win, new AEW World Champion in his house, the professional wrestling business. Damn it.
It's one of those matches I don't mind being wrong about.
The same. And again, and at the end of the day, may the more deserving professional wrestler win. And right now, I think it's Bryan Danielson that's more deserving. No disrespect to Swerve. Damn it. All right. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look real quick at some comments from you guys here in the Sleep Predicting community on the forum here. Shout out to 24 of you now since we started this, I put it in. From Timeless to Glamorous. Yes. It's going to be a hell of a show. I hope there's some surprises. People returning from injury. I personally hope for that too. Hello, Jimmy Hater. In the main event, my heart says and wants Danielson to win. He might, but I know they're going this with Strickland. Do you know? To retain and then drop the title either at All Out or at Wrestle Dream. Yeah, I mean, Samoa Joe, he never lost sight of that. Ricochet debuts, and I'm still hoping for more City Machine Guns. LOL. All in, it's going to be special. Can't wait. Sunglasses emoji, got to get the people what they want. I think that's an Orange Cassidy fan. And again, I know I'll be ready for this as well as all of you. And I thank you both for going all in with me on this Sleep Predicting. And I hope you all take a chance if you haven't already on AEW. And go all in too at All In 2 this Sunday. But that being said, folks, let's freaking go. But for now, we're going to bid everybody thank you for tuning in and the opposite of hello as we say goodbye and thank you for tuning in. Again, what are your key moments? What are your surprises? What are your returns from injury? What are your first-time impacts? What do you hope to see be the culmination at the conclusion of this event at Wembley Stadium? Let us know in the comments down below. Let your voice be known in the chat as well. Again, I'm not monetized, so I thank all of you for tuning in and supporting our passion professional wrestling too. Let's go around, do our plugs real quick, and then bid everybody a fine adieu. Chris, again, always a pleasure. As again, I'm re-saying StreamYard. I don't have anything. You'll just have to email me in the messenger, and I'll update a graphic next time we do City Predicting. Stay tuned for more on that, folks, because that's probably the only live content on this channel going forward for the time being, as works crazy, price for passions, and I'm trying to help this man with his, and I just love doing this, simply put. Chris, where can people find and connect with you? Been a pleasure. Good luck Sunday, bruv.
Well, it's always a pleasure coming on Simply Predicting. Thanking for Noah and Walter for allowing me to be on tonight. I always have a good time being on Simply Predicting. Where you guys can find me at is my Instagram, CMROTZ_1316. Thank you for Roman Reigns for being the best undisputed WWE Universal Champion of all time. My Facebook is Christopher Rotz. My X account is C_Rotz24. Those are my 3 social medias where you guys could find me at. I'm always down on making friends. You guys could hit me up. I'll chat with you. We could talk about sports. We could talk about wrestling. We could talk about TV shows. We could talk about video games. Potato chips. I do like Lay's regular potato chips. So
Good
Noah, I'm on your side with things. So yeah, I had a good time. Always say yeah to NoDQ.com.
Yeah.
And good luck to everybody that is still competing in the predictions league for AEW. And let's go.
Let's freaking go all in. That's all I got to say about that. Appreciate it, Chris. And again, good luck and shout out to the Team No DQ All Elite squad, including me and Walter. And shout out to everybody in the All Elite League. Again, I'll have update on leagues and a Superman brand simple note some point tomorrow as I'll discuss all 5 leagues and what I might be doing going forward too in collaboration, not just with the Rachel Wrestling, but Cascading Studios, and also simply put on my YouTube channel. So stay tuned for more on that. That'll be some point out of nowhere tomorrow, Saturday Eve. That being said, Walter, it is going to be extremely interesting what we witnessed Sunday from All Elite Wrestling. I look very forward to going all in with you on this too. But in the meantime, bruv, anything you want to plug from where can people find you? I gotta get a graphic now from you too. I gotta update everything in StreamYard now. Damn it.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's like, can we just skip Saturday and get to Sunday? Like that's how I feel with this.
Yeah, about to say, you want me to skip through Saturday, bro? I'm game. Continue.
But yeah, in terms of following me at the YouTube is at Rage of Wrestling, of course. The X is at Walter Alex Cruz, and that's it for me. We got to make some content coming out, but with Noah's schedule and everything, we got to try to work things out. But more content should be coming. That's it for me.
That's simply put. And again, folks, if you wish to follow me if you choose on the Twitter primarily and on YouTube, or X if you still call it that. And then Foster 1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out to ATW family on the Twitter and social media platforms, because I truly am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I don't digress. Again, follow the Exhibit View if you choose. You'll find the entire playlist of my Exhibit YouTube channel. Me, JJ Williams, and of course, my brother in the chat, the Cajun King of ATW. We just did our latest episode where we went all in on our prelim predictions. Want to give a shout out to my friend across the pond in the UK, whether she goes all in. I know she's going all in on her wrestling career. Shout out to Mary J. Continue to prove that James before they go. Cheers to you, pal. Hope everything's doing well. Hope you enjoyed yourself in Italy. I'm kind of jealous. That being said, the next time I will be back here, I assure you, Sleeper Dating will continue to be a mainstay on this channel. And whether it's these two or some other gentlemen or ladies, it all depends on who wants to be on here and voice their passion, their opinion, all things wrestling too. The next time Sleeper Dating will be up here, we'll be talking Bash Berlin. Date and time to be determined, again, out of nowhere, as I like to do. But again, my Sleeper YouTube channel will continue to Sleeper Dating, the interview review, and I'll be collaborating with others on other content, whether it's Sherry Shenanigans, Braids of Wrestling, Super Reliable, who knows what else too. I might even get Jerry Slaughter back on here at one point. We might bring back Armbar Radio. Go follow Armbar on Facebook. And that's all I got to say for now. But in conclusion, as always, I'd like to leave you and encourage you. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. Just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too. Treasure your families and just your life into professional wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in to another edition of Sleeper Dating. And great job, guys, on the call. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell as this video goes live or on demand on either of these people's YouTube channels. Me, Walter, Chris, if you choose to create one. Follow this guy on social media. He's a good guy. And again, hit the subscribe button to help us keep growing our YouTube channels. I assure you, the content may change and the schedules might, but the passion and the creativity and the drive is not letting up anytime soon, I assure you. But I think with that being said, we can't skip ahead to Saturday through Sunday. We got to get through the rest of Friday, so I'm going to leave you all to do that. And I thank you all for tuning in once again for Sleeper Dating 2. Let's get ready to go all in come Sunday in Wembley Stadium. But until then, folks, make a positive impact in life. And have a good night. This has been Sleeper Dating AEW All in London. And we thank all of you, as always, for tuning in too. Have a good night, folks. We are not AEW. We are just fans of all things professional wrestling too. Cheers. And see you
I believe in Joe Hendry.
You son of a bitch. You just had to say
his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Damn it. Have a good night, folks.